All right, let's follow the 2024 campaign trail around the weekend and take a look at what happened. Donald Trump was scheduled to do another one of these unhinged lie rallies, the lie a second. It's not even lie a minute. It's the lie a second rally in Des Moines, Iowa. That rally was ultimately canceled. It was reportedly canceled for bad weather, although there are some who are saying it was canceled because there were no people and Trump realized it would be humiliating, so he opted to cancel it. I don't know. Officially, it was canceled for bad weather. This didn't stop the sycophants and dilettantes from showing up and praising the cult leader and really proving beyond any doubt whatsoever that this is a cult. I'm going to show you a few examples of this at the rally that did not happen. Here is a guy who was asked, Trump's doing a rally in Iowa. Ron DeSantis is also doing an event in Iowa, even though he's not yet running. And this guy says he felt an obligation to be at the Trump rally. Why? I'll let him explain it to you.
Iowa's an important state. We've got DeSantis in the same state today, but you guys chose to be here for President Trump. What was the decision-making process there?
You want to go first?
I think all of the attacks against President Trump that are just totally unprecedented, the legal allegations against him, I just feel obligated knowing how much President Trump has stood up for me and has stood up for all of these Americans. I feel obligated to come out here and show my support for him.
Yeah. Now, see, this is where, like, if we had Luke Beasley on the ground, he would follow up and say, oh, in what way did Trump stand up for you? Well, he stood up to China for me. Oh, really? How did he stand up to China? And you very quickly see that it's completely vapid. It's just, there's absolutely no substance whatsoever there. Then they go to the guy next to him with basically the same question. DeSantis is in the state of Iowa. Trump was scheduled to be in the state of Iowa before the rally got canceled. Why are you here instead of at the DeSantis event? And listen to what this guy says. It's beyond parody.
Things to say. Promises made, promises kept. And Trump is the only president ever that has traded his wealth for his country and not his country for his wealth.
Not his country for his wealth. Trump earned $1.6 billion personally during his presidency. Think about the level of disconnect with these people. Trump did something no one else has ever done. He traded his wealth for the country, for the good of the country. He earned $1.6 billion during the 4 years that he was supposedly working for this guy's interests as president of the United States. Then they speak to, we're still dealing with the same group of folks. They speak to one of the women, I guess, and say, if you had the chance to speak to Donald Trump, what would you say to him?
Mr. Trump, you are a true American hero. We love you. You are the true American badass that we have been waiting for, and we thank you. You're like our father, our protector, and we love you. Thank you.
Folks, intervention is the word that comes to mind. This is a very deep and troubled cult, and this is the sort of, there was a time, I know people sometimes get upset when I do this. There was a time where if you went, and in fact, you can look at this on YouTube, and I know some people will say, David, you're glamorizing terrible movies. Okay, just bear with me. If you go on YouTube and you find examples of right-wingers from the 60s and 70s who would go to, for example, a William F. Buckley, Noam Chomsky debate or something like that, and they would get on the mic and they would ask a question, okay? They will seem like the most sane and rational intellectuals compared to these folks now. In fact, if you look at the Trump CNN town hall from last week and you look at the questions that were asked, people who can barely string a sentence together, and then you look at the folks that would engage, with William F. Buckley and others in the 60s, 70s, 80s of the United States, the right, I am on the left, okay? So I would come to different conclusions on policy than these folks. But there were people on the right in the United States back then who didn't seem obviously like empty vessels, just following a cult leader without understanding a word about it. You go and look at, there's some very interesting videos on YouTube where the economist Milton Friedman takes questions from the audience. And some of the questions are from people on the left and some of the questions are for people on the right. The level of discourse was, you just can't even compare it to what has happened to this country, particularly from the anti-intellectual and pseudo-intellectual left, where college is liberal indoctrination and books are sissy and all of this stuff. And this is where we end up with cult members. That's where we are at this point in time. Here's a guy from the same rally that was postponed who, without evidence, says to the anchors of Real America's Voice, someone from New York has been paying for my dad's cancer treatment, and I'm sure it's Donald Trump. What? Do you have any evidence of that? No, but I'm just sure.
But my dad hasn't received a cancer bill in over 5 years, and it's been paid 100% by a guy in New York, and that can only be President Donald J. Trump, and my dad's cancer-free.
Yeah, that's just made up, guys. There's no reason whatsoever to think. And by the way, Trump hasn't lived in New York for years. Trump famously, while he was president, changed his residency to Florida. Like, just none of this makes sense. There's no thinking. There's no thinking that's happening here. It is just people praying at the altar of the cult leader Trump. The question of the E. Jean Carroll case did come up in interviews with some of these supporters. We'll go back to that earlier group we looked at. And they were asked, well, what do you think about the E. Jean Carroll thing? And here's what they had to say.
Women for Trump. Are you deterred at all by any of the recent allegations against him, or are you just supporting Trump through and through because you know that he's an honest man?
We think that it's a lie, and yeah, and he's a good guy. They just don't like it because he's standing up for America.
They have demonized him because he's the one standing up for we the people. He's the only president, the only person who has ever stood up for we the people. He's on our side, and that's why he's been demonized, because all the systems that have been in control are rigged.
Right. A jury, which included Trumpists, okay, found that Trump was liable for the sexual assault and defamation of E. Jean Carroll because the jury was angry that Trump stood up for the American people. I sound like an idiot repeating it. It's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Here's one last clip. Folks proudly talking about the parts of the country they came from to see this rally. Tornado watch be damned.
Great to see you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. A little wet, but I'm drying off.
Oh, yeah. So were you here during the little rain?
Yes, had to wring my clothes out.
Now, did people stay? Did people run? What was it like?
I never saw anyone leave.
Isn't that incredible?
Incredible.
Incredible. I got a video actually of just hundreds of people waiting out here earlier, pouring rain, and they didn't move a muscle. They stayed right here, waiting to show their support for
proudly ignoring dangerous weather.
President Trump. Now, speaking of support for President Trump, the Front Row Joes have always been some of the most vocal supporters. I want to know today where each of y'all came from. When did you leave? How far is that journey? Hey, Becky.
We left the day before yesterday and just took our time. I'm from Tennessee. I came with Mike Bobin. He's from Indiana.
Mike Bobin.
Becky, what about you?
South Dakota, 6 hours.
All right, not too bad. How far did you travel and when did you leave?
I came here yesterday. It took me about 11 hours from Ohio.
Okay. So as you can see, a badge of honor. The more that you have struggled and the more that you have suffered to be in the presence of the great leader, the more commitment you have demonstrated. This is straight out of a cult playbook, straight out of a cult. You brag about who has toiled and suffered the most to be here today. Scary stuff. Many of these people vote. Trump could win in 2024, and so we need to be on our guard. One of our sponsors is Zippix nicotine toothpicks. Don't you think it's time you stopped putting smoke and vape oils in your lungs? Zippix toothpicks are a convenient way to curb the nicotine cravings. Zippix toothpicks are super discreet. You can use them anytime, anywhere smoking and vaping aren't allowed, including flights, sporting events, in restaurants. They're available in 6 different flavors with options of 2 and 3 milligrams of nicotine. If you're not a nicotine user, Zippix also offers caffeine and B12 infused toothpicks. Zippix has already helped tens of thousands of customers ditch the cigarettes, ditch the vapes. They might be able to help you too. If you're a smoker or a vapor, give Zippix toothpicks a try. Your lungs will thank you. Go to zippixtoothpicks.com today. Save 10% with the code PACMAN10 at checkout. Just remember, you must be 21 or older to order. The link is down below.